There have been so many shows and films that have portrayed the drug world, but I think that we've never seen it done quite like this. And I was wondering why you think this is such a distinct story and these characters are so distinct.
For me, I have to say Courtney, you know. Chris Albrecht is obviously extremely intelligent and gifted, and Lela, Courtney, and myself say that he's a front man as a corporate guy, but he's a real artist at heart. He's a writer at heart, and so his sensibilities and tracking down, along with Curtis 50 Cent, and how brilliant he is, in tracking down a Courtney Kemp Agboh and then saying, this is the sort of blueprint, go for it. And for Courtney to create something like this, I mean, she's a Connecticut-bred, African-American young woman who's not necessarily from the hard parts of Connecticut, yet her father was from the hard parts of Connecticut, and so there's a range in her. You know, and when she first sat down and penned, these are the characters created.
And I think what happens is, like, especially if you're a woman of color, you grow up with all being put in all these boxes that you don't necessarily fit into, right? And so what happens is you have this desire to, like, break those bonds and say, like, I'm not this or I'm not that. You can't label me like this. And then that eventually makes your way into your writing, and you don't do that to your characters either. That's why all of the characters are so dynamic. It's because
you're not handcuffing them.
It's like it's a way of giving yourself freedom. Like, you think I'm this? Well, let me show you all of this. Now what are you gonna think? Because on some level,
and
this whole creation is all facets of Courtney.
Yeah, and collaborative in the sense that while facets of Courtney, she got strong, opinionated actors that challenge her as much as she challenges us. And if we think we can...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And if we think that there's, you know, parts of ourselves that can be added to what she's creating, then, you know, and not that other shows haven't done that. You know, it would sound pretentious for us to allude to that non-reality. Other shows have done that. Other creators have been collaborative and allowed smart actors to do what they do, but we definitely are dichotomous and range-filled actors as people, and then she hired us, and so we get in there and we're like, okay, that theme was talked about last episode, let's play up the fact that he's a father and a doting father the next episode. Let's really do that, because we so went to the brutality of the episode prior. So we're constantly trying to make sure that we yo-yo in a perfect juggle or in harmony the different elements, not only of the characters, but I guess of ourselves. We're telling on ourselves a little bit as Lela and Omari and Joe and Curtis and Enrique and Luis. You know, we're telling on ourselves, Notori.
What's interesting is, as you said, Courtney didn't really have a lot of experience in this world or didn't know it too well, but used her relationship with 50, who knew that world and could sort of fill in the blanks for her. So I think it was a combination of, as you said, creating something out of frustration with that one.
I wouldn't say out of frustration, it's just that you're not gonna stereotype your characters in the way maybe we all have growing up.
Yeah, to go against the sort of one-dimensional portrayal.
But I think, you know, from a male's perspective, I think it's a good, I thought it was well articulated what Lela said. I think it is frustration. I think that women are oftentimes handcuffed by society in terms of what they can be. You're definitely doing more than what your grandmother did.
What?
Lela's doing more than what her grandmother did. Now, the more doesn't mean better than what they did, but you're doing more in the sense that your platforms have a wider reach than grandma did. So Courtney is a woman who would be a victim of society frustratingly handcuffing women. And so for the breakage of, like, no, I want to do this, and I want to tell this story. I don't want to create a melodramatic show that would be created on paper by a woman. I want to do a show that people think would be created by a man. So when she approaches those characters, I think Lela's correct that she's not shackling the character to the page. She's allowing the actors to come in and go, let's fly with it in this way. And it allows viewers to go, I don't know if I've ever seen anything so real, so raw.